You ever watch someone walk into your life like they own it? Like the walls you bled for, the ground you sacrificed for, was just a stage for their performance. That was the day I realized I wasn't a daughter-in-law. I was their prey. The first time Camilla, my so-called mother-in-law, stepped into my home, she didn't look around. She surveyed it. Like a queen inspecting her stolen throne. Her heels clicked across the hardwood, sharp and deliberate, before she announced, "Yes. This will do. Not this is beautiful. Not congratulations. Just entitlement, thick as perfume." And the cruelest part? The house she was staking claim to wasn't hers. It wasn't her son's. It wasn't theirs at all. It was mine, but you see, I had spent years convincing myself that love meant sacrifice. That if I just kept my head down, worked harder, saved more, maybe, just maybe, I'd be accepted. Instead, I became a bank account with a pulse. It started small. Whispers behind doors. Conversations that ended the second I walked into the room. Camilla would laugh, saying things like, "When the old family place sells, we'll move into hers. She owes us that much." Owes us. The word stung like acid. As if my sweat, my sleepless nights, my entire future existed just to pad their comfort. I began to notice patterns. My husband, Elias, spending nights at his mother's. My sister-in-law dropping hints about their future home. Even distant cousins I hadn't met suddenly appeared, curious about how many bedrooms my house had. I felt invisible in my own life. Until the day of the inspection. That was supposed to be my moment, the day I signed my name, the day I claimed the one thing that was truly mine. Instead, it turned into an ambush. They arrived in packs. Camilla, her daughter, cousins who had no business being there. They flooded the rooms like conquerors, touching the walls, opening doors, choosing where they would sleep. My sister-in-law squealed, "Finally! No more tiny apartments." Camilla smirked at me and said, "Perfect. We'll take the upstairs. You and Elias can make do with the ground floor. Do you know what it feels like to suffocate while standing perfectly still? To want to scream but smile instead?" I gave them nothing. No reaction. Because while they were busy claiming what wasn't theirs, I was holding a secret. See, I had been documenting everything. Every sly remark. Every assumption. Every moment they exposed their greed. And the deed? The papers? The proof? They weren't in anyone's name but mine. Not Elias's. Not Camilla's. Mine.so, when the agent slid the final contract across the table, I signed with steady hands. And only then, when the ink dried like blood on a battlefield, I spoke. "This house," I said quietly, almost tenderly, "is mine. Not the family's. Not yours. Not his. Mine." The silence that followed was the kind that swallows a room whole. Camilla's smirk cracked, her voice shrill with panic. "Don't be ridiculous. We're family. Everything is shared." I looked her straight in the eyes. "Not this. Not ever." Her face twisted. "You wouldn't survive without my son." And that's when I gave her the truth. Correction, he wouldn't survive without me. This house proves it. Elias sat frozen, shame flickering across his face. But I didn't flinch. I didn't tremble. With every stroke of my pen, I wasn't just signing a deed. I was carving myself free. They realized it then. One by one. That they had no power here. Camilla's hands trembled as she spat, "You'll regret this." But regret was a language I had already mastered. I'd lived with it long enough, regret for silencing myself, for letting them feed off me, for playing the dutiful wife while they schemed. Not anymore. By the end of the week, their old house was empty. They thought they'd crash at mine. Instead, they received a lawyer's letter: "This property does not belong to you. Any attempt to enter will result in prosecution." Camilla, the self-proclaimed queen, ended up in a cramped rental on the edge of the city. And Elias? He came crawling back with apologies and excuses, but loyalty tested too late. Is loyalty already lost? I filed for divorce quietly, strategically, the same way I bought the house, without warning, and when the papers landed in his hands, he looked just as stunned as his mother had on inspection day. People think revenge is rage, fire, fury. But real revenge, it's patience. It's silence. It's letting them believe they've won until the ground crumbles beneath them. Camilla thought she was stepping into her new kingdom that day. She was wrong. She wasn't stepping into a castle. She was stepping into her downfall. And me? I finally stepped into my freedom. So tell me, what would you have done in my place? Stayed quiet? Or taken back control, piece by piece, until there was nothing left for them to steal?